Hello folks, welcome to OTD, also known as On the Deck, where you can get all the sports you need in 10 minutes. My name is Adam Orduna. This is my mom, Gina.
He's a journalist.
She's the enthusiast.
She is such an enthusiast because right now we are we're like 75% through with the NFL season.
Absolutely.
So it's the nitty and the gritty.
Well, I hope everyone had a great holiday, a great Thanksgiving. It was a great holiday here at home. We ate so much food, and
there's still turkey in there.
There's still turkey in there. I'm paying for it right now. I know I put on at least 5 or 6 pounds of food weight.
I'm paying for it because you're my trainer. You've been down there making me sweat out turkey grease and
exactly. You gotta get that holiday weight off. But we hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving.
I hope you missed us.
Right, we did take a couple days off as we were trying to engage in the family and enjoy the holiday. But we are now back, and we are going to be doing a lot of football coverage, as right now everything is really in high demand when it comes to the NFL. We still have games left of into the season, but all of these games are now starting to put teams into the playoff picture and where they will be within their divisions, and kind of what this means for wild card play as well. If you're not a team that's really high in your division, but you still have a decent record,
right,
you still have a chance to maybe make a playoff run within the wild card setting. There's just so many headlines that we've got to get to today, so let's get right into it. Right now we are going to talk about some of the underperforming teams that we thought going into the season, the preseason, we're like, this team's going to be good, that team's going to be good, but now we're at this point in time of the year where injuries have taken place. There have been some rumbles within the locker room for some of these franchises. There are some major programs right now, or teams, I should say, that have just really underperformed. And we put up a list here. We've got the Dallas Cowboys. We've got the New York Football Giants, exactly.
The Oakland
Raiders, the Denver Broncos, and even right now our Kansas City Chiefs are on the downward side.
Okay, so the Chiefs, I feel like they don't really belong in this category. We need to talk about them because they're struggling.
Right.
But we're talking about teams that in the preseason, everybody was telling us the New York Football Giants. Like, everyone's talking about now that Derek Carr is healthy, and Marshawn Lynch is back at the Raiders. Like, these are teams that had all kind of preseason hype through the first 2 games, 3 games. Everybody's like, and, like, I think the Giants have won 2 games.
The Giants have won 2 games. But the reason why the Chiefs are in this conversation is because they've won 1 out of the last 5 games.
We're on
and
a
they
slide.
Started off 5-0.
Yeah.
And regardless of what the preseason implications were, they were the number 1 team in the league for about 3 weeks. They took down the Super Bowl champs. All of those things happened.
And the only loss that the Eagles have right now is to the Chiefs,
And so what do you think is going on with some of these programs, or I should at least say franchises? Let's talk about the Giants here, as there's a lot of stuff going on that we can't really get to all of it today. But what are your quick thoughts on the Giants right now?
I think that they fired the wrong coach.
Yep.
I think Tom Coughlin is an exceptional coach. They had a run. I think they needed to shake up some things, maybe new defensive coordinator, but you don't fire Tom Coughlin because you have been just a disappointment ever since.
Yeah.
And, Ben McAdoo, I don't know the man. I don't want to curse the man. He does not strike me as a good football coach.
Yeah.
And the latest news is that they're going to bench Eli with breaking his all-time starting streak.
210
second only to Brett
starts.
Favre.
Yep.
And, whatever, like Eli's trying to downplay it and say streaks don't matter. But to me, when you are at that point, and I agree, I think it's at the ownership level. The fact that you're letting this kind of stuff happen, there's a problem at the ownership level. The complete operational side of the Giants is showing itself. And they have the injury bug.
They do.
They have the injury. Odell Beckham has not been right at all this season. He didn't make it through one single game.
He had ankle surgery.
And it's
Brandon Marshall's out.
So it's just, I think it's a multitude of things, but I don't think firing Tom Coughlin was the right idea. I do not believe that benching Eli is the right thing to do. And I think the Giants are going to probably finish with those 2 wins that they have.
Probably
That's
so.
my honest opinion.
Well, we've got Dallas, who has been in the headlines for all the wrong reasons this year. Starting with the offseason, they had like 7 or 8 guys arrested or charged with some type of assault or battery or stealing something. Exactly, possession of something. What are your quick thoughts on Dallas as they are sitting at 5-6 right now?
My quick thoughts are 2 things. One, people should go back and watch your show from the middle of the summer when we were talking about Cowboys in trouble.
Yep.
Two, I think that without Zeke Elliott, they have for some reason gotten very one-dimensional. I don't understand that. Zeke's only been on the team 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, they've been able to run the ball a lot before that. But and then my last thought is that Dak Prescott, as the quarterback, is going to bear a brunt of the blame, and I don't think that's where it should lie.
Right.
You've got an offensive line that is no longer able to hold up, a defense that really isn't able to stop anybody, and play calls that are extremely predictable, and for some reason, zero running back. Now, Dak can take his share of the blame, but I think quarterbacks get a disproportionate amount of blame, and I think that's what's happening right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Well, let's go to the AFC West, the Chiefs division, where this arguably is the toughest or hardest division in all of the NFL. The Chiefs, the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Raiders. Right now, the entire division is really not holding pat to what you would think they should be.
We don't look like the toughest division right now.
It's really frustrating for a lot of reasons because you got the Broncos who have a stellar defense, but ever since Peyton Manning walked away and retired off into the sunlight, they have, or sunset, I should say, they have not been able to have much of an offense at all. They've gone through quarterbacks left and right, and they now have a brand new head coach, young coach who is doing everything. Vance Joseph, doing everything that he can. What's going on with Denver?
Everything you just said, but it starts at the quarterback again. It's like we talked about Dak at Dallas. If you have 2 or 3 quarterbacks, you say if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none.
Right.
You know, that argument, whatever. But if you have 2, 3, 4 quarterbacks, coach, we fired this one, he went 3 different places, we brought him back. You have no quarterback.
Yeah.
Who's the offensive line blocking for?
Yeah, exactly.
Who's the defense going to get a stop and hand the ball back to?
Yeah.
But let's start with the defense needs to get a stop. Like, you know, they're a very talented defense. Aqib Talib. Who did you play against at A&M?
Von Miller.
Von Miller. Yeah. Sorry, Von. I just think that it's a top to bottom mess right now, and you got a brand new coach. He needs to get in there and find himself a quarterback, and then let the team coalesce around that because they do have all the weapons outside of that they need. I feel like.
And really, you could say, going on to the next team, the biggest disappointment of the AFC West right now is the Oakland Raiders.
Correct.
What are your quick thoughts on them as we
I felt like that they had so much preseason hype, there was no way they could live up to it.
Yeah.
I myself am shocked at Derek Carr's play. I really thought Marshawn Lynch was going to come back and put his foot in the ground and stomp over people. I just thought the Raiders were going to be our biggest challenge, and right now they're just a team that doesn't seem to have coalesced around itself.
Right. Well, speaking of quarterbacks, we have a bunch of quarterbacks that are really on their last contract year. This is the contract year where you really have to make or break
get your money
season.
Or
you
get
got
out.
it, yeah. And so we've got some Hall of Famers on the list. Drew Brees is in his last contract year, or his final year of his contract. Eli Manning, who again we've talked about with the Giants, he's now benched. You've got Kirk Cousins for that team up there in Washington, who's been his second year on the franchise tag, which is never really good, but you get a lot of money for 1 year. And then Jimmy Garoppolo, who was the famous backup for Tom Brady, who is now playing for San Francisco for the 49ers. And he's finally getting his first start, but he is on the last year of his rookie contract with the Patriots. Out of those quarterbacks, who really intrigues you the most from kind of what we're talking about?
Well, intrigue is Jimmy Garoppolo. I think that is the most upside. I think I'm excited to watch him play and get a start this Sunday. I'm just never been a Kirk Cousins fan. It's not any. I can't put my finger on it.
Yeah.
He's a really good quarterback. I just don't like the guy.
Right.
The whole Eli Manning situation. I would love to see Eli get on a team for 1 year. And get some wins. Whether he went. Even if he just makes it to the playoffs and then retire. I just hate what's going on with him at the Giants. But Drew Brees, is Drew Brees going to retire? Is somebody going to pick up an almost 40-year-old Drew Brees and give him an extended 3, 4, 5-year contract?
Right.
I don't know.
I think for Drew Brees, he will probably retire a Saint. I don't see him going anywhere else. I don't know what they're going to do as far as contract extensions for any of these guys. I agree with you, Eli. I think he needs a fresh start. Tom Coughlin is down there in Jacksonville. I think it would be a good fit. Young defense, athletic players down there.
There's a lot of excitement going on in Jacksonville.
Kirk Cousins has been put on everybody's team through rumors. And then Jimmy Garoppolo, I would love to see him finally get a full year to start. Maybe for the 49ers, give him an extension there.
Good looking kid, too.
Well, and kind of the entire feel of the NFL right now is fighting. And
it's
so everyone
right
is
now.
right there within reach of of getting to the playoffs. We had a huge fight between Aqib Talib and Michael Crabtree, Oakland Raiders and the Denver Broncos.
Interdivisional fighting.
This has been an ongoing battle since last year between these two young gentlemen. What are your thoughts on this whole situation and the suspension that took place?
Well, first of all, they should have been suspended. This is ridiculous. And both of their coaches spoke out, and both of them said the same thing. Because not only did they ended up getting another one of their own players thrown out because they had to jump in the middle of it. This is a personal battle between two guys who genuinely don't like each other.
Correct.
They both played in the Big 12 against each other.
Yep.
They just don't like one another.
Right.
And they're taking that to their job.
Yes, they are.
And it's not good for the league. Listen, I love a good fight. I really do. And I think sometimes you just got to release tension. But you're swinging, helmets are coming off, you're yanking chains.
Right.
You are not Debo.
From Friday.
Now, he is the captain of About That Life Club. I will give you that. But you don't have to be.
Right.
You're a multimillionaire professional athlete.
Yeah.
You've already humiliated Michael Crabtree. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
And Michael, we get it. You got shook last year.
Yep.
And you got clowned about it. So I understand you want to shove somebody. It's done. It's over. You guys need to sit down in timeout for a week and then come back and play football. That's the end of it.
Yep. Well, we'll see what happens as it's an interesting ongoing thing. It's the league.
There's only 3 weeks left.
So we'll see what happens. Well, we want to say we appreciate your time, folks. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you again.